The nation's rising unemployment rate has forced many Americans to rethink their careers. Our first guest today says uncertain times present the perfect opportunity for workers to redefine what they do and how they do it. Joining us today is Glenn Llopis. Glenn is an entrepreneur, formerly with Sunkist, Gallo Wine, and Norway Seafood, where he was a vice president of that billion-dollar company by the age of 30. Glenn is also the author of Earning Serendipity and a website to go along with it. We'll show you more on that coming up later in the interview. First of all, Glenn, good to have you on the program.
Oh, thank you so much. It's great to be here, Becky.
Explain the title, Earning Serendipity.
Sure.
What does that mean?
Well, first of all, a lot of people don't know what serendipity means.
Okay, yeah, let's backtrack and start with that.
And we've really simplified it by calling it positive happenstance. But serendipity is really when good things happen to you when you're not expecting it. And so how can you imagine that you could earn something that you can't control? And I've learned through my life that that's what we can do. We can control our own good fortune. And I've always said that there's such a thing as a fortune cookie myth, that we open up fortune cookies and reading what is supposed to be signs of luck. And I don't believe that. I believe that we have to create our own good fortune, that luck comes and goes, and good fortune is something that can be sustained within in and out of the workplace.
How do you do that? Because in translating that to the workforce today, and you're laid off, you're part of a big downsizing, that is your opportunity. You're supposed to have this aha moment. This is when I become the entrepreneur.
Right.
It's hard to make that happen, isn't it? It's hard to see the opportunity when things seem so bad. You
know, Becky, about 5 years ago, I was a victim of misfortune, and I thought things would never be the same again. I thought that I had lost my momentum that I'd worked so hard to build, and I thought it wouldn't ever come back. And it was the wisdom that I'd learned from my parents, and particularly my father, Cuban immigrants that came to this country with nothing. But what they had is that immigrant perspective of really working hard and seeing nothing but opportunity, because most immigrants that come to this country come from their mother countries where they've already lived corruption or they've lived political or economic unrest. So I believe that there's opportunity everywhere, and especially during these uncertain times. I know it may seem a bit counterintuitive, but it's all around us. See, I don't believe that entrepreneurship just is a business term anymore. It's a way of life, and until we can accept that, will we be able to flourish in our careers, in our ventures, in our everyday life. So there's 4 things that we need to do.
All right, in other words, when you say entrepreneurship, I always think you're starting your own business.
Sure.
You are your own operation.
That's right.
So how, you say the 4 steps, what would be number 1?
Sure, well, number 1 is, it's being able to see with circular vision. And that's the ability to be able to see above, beneath, and beyond what you seek to enlarge your field of opportunity. My father always used to say that it's all about people, and there's 4 types of people that we deal with both in and outside of the workplace. We deal with leaders, lifters, loafers, and leeches. And right now, I think that we can say that we've been burned by those leeches and those loafers that put us into this mess. So it's time that people start associating themselves with those people that give them life and that lift them and get them started all over again. Are
you saying with circular vision, in other words, you've been an electrical engineer for 25 years.
Sure.
You get downsized. Are you saying look beyond being an electrical engineer and say, maybe I could be a teacher, maybe I could do X, maybe I could do Y? Is that what circular vision is?
That's exactly what it is. And it's funny because I always say that in an let's say that someone just lost their job and they were in the purchasing department. I've always believed that people that have been involved in the purchasing department are excellent negotiators, because that's what they do. They buy all day, right? So why not look at changing your career and maybe putting your passionate pursuits in maybe sales, because sales is an area that requires those negotiation skills. So I believe that we all have cross-departmental or cross-functional skills, but we need to be able to see with circular vision to find it.
Yeah, look at the job description versus the title to get an understanding of how you can transition. What's the second point you wanted to make with regard to entrepreneurship?
Sure. The second skill is sowing entrepreneurial seeds. That's really giving your ideas life, opening up your ideas and make them become true opportunities for you. For example, I always ask people, how many times has somebody said to you, that's a great idea, you should do something with that? And then what happens?
Well, you don't do anything.
That's right, you don't do anything.
And then 2 years down the road, you see somebody else did it, and you said, Why didn't I do that?
That's right. And
they're a multimillionaire.
That's exactly right. And that's what I've said. Just think of a world that carried and embraced the entrepreneurial mindset. Just think about what our lives would be like if entrepreneurs didn't create those great inventions and innovations. I mean, think of Thomas Edison, or think about Jeff Bezos at Amazon.com and others. They've helped us form communities that didn't exist before. So sow those seeds of opportunities every day. You never know which one's going to grow.
All right, we only have about 30 seconds left, and we have 2 skills left. Very briefly, the 2. What are they?
Sure. Growing the seeds of greatest potential. That's really about momentum and how you can sustain that momentum by being able to see those opportunities for growth and giving them focus. Then finally, the last skill is sharing the harvest. That's all about giving. That's being able to take that momentum that you've grown and sharing it with others. I believe that right now we're going to be joining together as people more than ever because we stopped sharing when we stopped trusting.
Earning Serendipity is not only the title of the book, but it also is the website. And there you see earningserendipity.com. A great deal of information included about the book, also other skills and ways you can pursue entrepreneurship in your life and in your career. Good to have you on the program, Glenn.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. And we'll be back with more 12 on the Money after the break.